I mean, you know, we have the Utah Flash roster is who we got. We had a dispersal draft with their players and got the rights to 14 guys. But when you look at a guy like Brandon Costner, he was one of the best big men last year in the D-League, and he's a guy who can shoot the ball from the perimeter. He's got three-point range. He can post up. He's a wide body. And he's a guy that really just physical conditioning is going to be the biggest concern for Brandon, but he's definitely a guy that we feel can play at the NBA level.
I know obviously all team personnel can't talk about any lockout related issues at all or any players, but is that a challenge in itself in terms of selling to the guys and you know, knowing that there's one extra variable that may complicate their chances of making it to that level?
You know, I think for the most part our players are just trying to get better. You know, I mean, everybody wants to get an NBA call-up. You know, the referees are trying to get called up. The trainers want to get the call-up. You know, everybody that's associated with it. But I do think that the players, they understand the state of the game and where we are right now. But having said that, it's still about trying to get better on an individual basis to get to the next level.
You know, I briefly had an exchange with Clint Snyder earlier this offseason. He had some D-League experience. He mentioned something interesting, that experience really allows to figure out for yourself if you really like this craft per se. Is that something that you've gone through yourself in terms of, you know, just your coaching experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're sitting on a bus from Bismarck, North Dakota, to Sioux Falls, and it's normally a 7.5-hour bus trip, and you're doing it in the middle of the night, and there's snow, and you get stuck on the middle of the side of the freeway. I mean, at some point, about 4 in the morning, you're looking out in the middle of nowhere, and between North and South Dakota, you ask yourself, how much do you like to coach, or how much do you like to play? You know, so I think that the D-League can be challenging at times, but for all of us that love what we do, you know, it's part of life.
Are there any specific anecdotes with that kind of stuck out in your mind during your experience that kind of helped, you know, I guess, bring that to the test, so to speak?
No, I mean, I think that, you know, when you look at coaches' development, you know, from a coaching standpoint, there's, when you lose 2-3 guys, you know, a while back, you know, in the minor leagues, we had lost 3 players in one day. And that was challenging, you know, to have your best rebounder, your 2 best scorers leave all in one day and then have a game that night. So you do have to really be flexible in style of play. And, you know, at the NBA level, you have a lot of assistant coaches. You have people helping with the video. You have, you know, so much, you know, access to help. And in the D-League, you wear a lot of different hats, you know. Myself and our assistant coach, Clay Moser, I mean, you're kind of doing a lot of different things, and it helps develop you in a lot of different areas. I mean, there's no defensive coordinator, there's no offensive coordinator. You're a coach, you're a, you know, a mentor, you're a guy who's got to help develop them, so you're a development coach. So there's a lot of different things you have to do.
So when you mentioned the instance where 3 of your guys moved up, do you recall which team that was with? Or?
That was when I was with Rapid City in the CBA.
Okay. Do you remember which year that was?
No, because they all kind of blend together. I wish I did.
Understandable. Now take me back from the beginning. I know you became, you know, the youngest coaches in the CBA, and how did that opportunity all come about?
My dad had been a successful minor league coach and had won 4 straight CBA championships. At the time it was a CBA, and he had been in Rapid City and had left there and eventually became the Timberwolves coach. And the year that the Timberwolves were preparing to have their first team, that team president or the owner of the Rapid City team had asked me to come on and be the general manager. And I had just graduated from college, been 1 year out actually, and decided to go be the GM. And we actually hired Flip Saunders. And Flip was the assistant coach at the University of Tulsa. So that was kind of Flip Saunders' start into pro basketball as well. And then Flip went to the lacrosse team the next year, and then I took over at 23 and was very, very lucky that I had a lot of smart players that were veteran, experienced guys, and they kind of coached the team while I sat there and acted like I was the coach.